we're looking to speak on, one of, the demands that our audience have actually spoken to. And it's how to invest in gold. It's something, gold is shiny, valuable, and the average person just feels, okay, gold, you either buy gold, your gold chain jewelries, and you've invested in it, but definitely it's a whole lot more. And we have the prestigious Arnold Dublin Green, Chief Investment Officer with Quadros Asset Management, right?
Yes.
Yeah, good to have you, Arnold.
Thank you
Good to have you, Arnold.
Thank you for waking me up this morning.
You just had to call him out on radio, right?
Yeah, I had to, sorry.
We had to beg him, him.
It's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Same here, Arnold. So let's just get straight into it.
Okay.
So, gold is such a powerful investment tool, right? And especially in the Nigerian economy. What makes it, what makes it that really?
So gold has been around for centuries, way before our time and our parents' time, parents' time.
Yeah.
We've always, as a country, we've always bought gold, traded gold. Gold is, I don't want to go too far back. I was about to get into some history with how, northern Nigerians would buy gold from Ghana, which was called the Gold Coast back in the day.
Okay.
And then, travel all the way to North Africa, Morocco, Algeria, Egypt, to then trade gold for European products and then come back with the European products and then trade it with us. Really? Yeah. This was a very long time ago, but that's a story for another time. But gold is traditionally a safe haven.
Yeah.
A safe haven asset. So a safe haven asset pretty much means that when times are tough, when times are hard, when times are uncertain, people, investors, let me use the word people, turn to gold to park their cash and park their assets. There are a bunch of other safe haven assets. There's US treasuries, Swiss francs, Japanese yen, but gold has historically been a safe haven asset longer than those other asset classes have been.
Okay,
yes,
that's nice. So, what's the current price of gold really? You have an idea?
Yes, sure. Gold is currently around $3,200 right now. It went as high as $3,500 per ton. Then I guess I can talk about the price move of gold.
Yeah, exactly.
So gold has always been gold, like I said, a safe haven. But something interesting happened to gold about 3 years ago. So in 2022, when you had the Russian-Ukraine crisis or Russian-Ukraine war, we saw the US sanction Russia. I believe that when that sanction came in, that made quite a few countries nervous, uncertain, and realize the power of America. And as you know, a lot of countries' central banks use US dollars and US treasuries as their safe haven. Yeah. Or should I say the FX reserves? The FX reserve, almost 100% of most central banks in the world have the US treasuries as a safe haven, as their FX reserve rather. So when if your currency, if you're holding a country's treasury as your FX reserve, when there's a sanction, it affects you massively. So when countries saw that happen and saw what happened to Russia, and when Russia was taking up the SWIFT payments, SWIFT payments is the payment that we use when we're trying to send money. Trade dollars. Yes. When they saw that happen, central banks decided to double the amount of gold they purchased annually. Central banks around the world, so name it. So from 2022, you started seeing a huge purchase of gold by central banks. Okay. So what that means is now the demand of gold has gone up. Price just rallied. And the more uncertain times got, the more powerful the US felt, the more central banks purchased gold. So what's happened now is what's happened this year is we've seen the Trump tantrums, and we've seen Trump really swing America around to show how powerful they are with tariffs and everything. It's made more investors and more central banks even more nervous and just buy gold. So everyone is following what central banks are doing around the world and just buying gold just to be safe. So what you're finding is central banks gold has gone from maybe between 2 and 5% of global central banks' FX reserve to about 20 to 25% of global central banks' FX reserves since 2022 to 2025.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how you see this huge
massive
rally in gold.
influence.
But before we go into your next question, when the world was buying gold, did the Nigerian government also start gold?
We don't have that information. I know the central bank released some information a few weeks ago, last week, and we saw that they moved the gold that they had from the States to somewhere else, but it doesn't say, we don't know whether they bought or not. I know, or should I say, we know they didn't buy. There's a report from the World Gold Council that came out in February this year that showed different central banks buying gold. Ghana had a huge influx. The Ghanaian central bank, the Bank of Ghana, did a huge influx of gold purchase, and you can see that play out in the currency. The currency actually strengthened by 8% this year as gold went up, right? And the gold exports also helped that. But we didn't see the same purchase by our central bank, unfortunately.
So we're playing catch up.
That's a smart move.
Very smart move. Very smart move. Very smart move.
Okay. So as an individual now,
Yes.
and I want to invest in gold. How do I actually go about that?
So gold is I found it a tricky one, and I'll be very honest for Nigerian investors. I like to go around telling Nigerian investors to buy gold to be safe. Not only is gold pricing, not only is gold, but gold is also priced in dollars, right? And we know that our currency, the number one rule for our currency, and I normally say this, and I get stoned for this. The number one rule for our currency is that Naira gets weaker. For as long as I've been alive, for as long as we've all been alive, the Naira has gotten weaker. So there's no empirical evidence, there's no historical evidence, there's no evidence to show you that over the next 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, the Naira gets stronger or stays the same.
Except the spiritual evidence.
Except hope that we have in God. So gold is good because gold is gold. And again, gold is also, the price of gold has also gone up historically. And gold is priced in dollars. And it's such a shame that there's very few instruments to allow us to buy gold. But what I tried, there are some ETFs. I want to see ETFs that Nigerian investors can buy on the Nigerian Stock Exchange on the NGX. It's called the New Gold ETF. Okay. And that ETF is probably one of the best. If you look at it as a stock and measure it against the stock market, it's performed aggressively, amazingly well. Over a 1 year period, even this year, because again, you've seen the Naira devaluation, Naira volatility that we've had against the dollar. I know you've also seen gold do well as well. So if you can get a hold of the new gold ETF on the stock exchange, that will also help you. And there are some investment managers that also will give you access to gold.
Okay, so you just go to the NGX platform.
Yes.
Find where you can pay for your ETFs.
That's it, and buy gold. It's like buying a GT stock or Presco stock or Zenith Bank stock.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but I mean, it's something that a friend of mine, wanted me to ask really.
Okay.
So when you do that, right, you invest, it's just your money invested in gold as ETF, right?
Yes.
There's no physical gold attached to it.
Yeah, on other ways you can buy physical gold if you know where to find it. I surely don't know where to find it. I don't know. You let me know and I'll you can buy physical gold, but the ETF is an exchange. ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. So what it is the company that has set up this ETF has physical gold. Mm-hmm. They actually have physical gold, and they've just given you access to the price of physical gold. So the price adjusts on the price of the ETF. Adjusts according to the price of your physical gold adjusts. So they measure the ETF based on the price of physical gold. So for those of us that don't have $3,000 to go and buy a brick of gold, you can just buy the ETF for whatever price it is.
So you can get as low as 3,000, 500,000 naira. Yeah,
you can get whatever price it is. So
you get the volume.
Yes, you get So they found a way to unitize so the ETF is sold in units. So a unit is based. So they found a way to make the brick of gold into units on the exchange on the NGX, which makes it easier, cheaper for us to get in. So everybody now can actually find a way to hedge the currency.
You can build your way into it.
Exactly, you build it slowly. So you don't have to come in big. You don't have to save $3,200. You don't have to save $6,000 or $1,000, whatever you have right now in your pocket. You open an account with a broker or an asset manager, and you tell them you want to buy a new gold ETF, and they'll assist you.
Okay, that's nice. So Kadi, you need to start.
Once you pay me the money you owe me.
So are there any disadvantages really or risks, in investing in gold?
Yes, I mean everything has risks, right? It'll be unfair or unwise of me to say that there's no risk to anything. Gold, the price of gold goes up and the price of gold goes down according to demand and supply. For me, one of the things that makes gold very valuable is two things. It's a safe haven asset.
Yeah.
So that means when there's uncertainty, times of uncertainty, which we are in right now globally, we're in huge global times of uncertainty. It's a safe haven asset. And number two, gold for me now, and this is the big one for me, gold represents the structural change that we're seeing around the world. I spoke about the change that started in 2022 when Russia got sanctioned and all the central banks started buying gold. And then there's a huge change coming in with this huge China wave. The Chinese have now introduced a new alternative payments where you don't have to go through SWIFT. Yeah. Right. So there's this huge structural change happening. And I don't know whether the Chinese are trying to take over SWIFT payments or not. But I know that they provided an alternative for people. Yeah. And when there's an alternative, there's a huge structural change going on. So the US, because normally, right, when you trade, so what happens is when you trade, when you import or export to the US or import into the US, you get paid dollars. And what happens is the trader now buys US treasuries. You just buy US treasuries to hold your currency. To just keep your money safe, right? So now people are saying, okay, I don't know, central banks, you don't only have to hold US treasuries, you can also hold gold. Right. So there's this huge structural change coming in trade, huge structural change coming in the way governments are preserving their FX reserve and protecting the currency. And gold is now a part of this story. Ooh. So you're getting involved with gold as a safe haven and you're getting involved in the structural change that we see. Whether the Trump tantrums come and go, it doesn't matter that structural change is happening because the structural change started before Trump. So
it's somewhat like a win-win situation.
Yeah, the Trump stuff has just made it even more pronounced and quicker. Yeah. It just made it happen quicker. Trump gold was at 3,100 and before April 1st, and then Liberation Day just went up to 3,500. But gold is still rising regardless of Trump or no Trump. So it's a safe haven and it's a structural change.
Thank you so much. So with all what we've said, right? What advice would you give to the should I say the salary and the small business owners that are looking to go into investing in gold? What advice, what approach would you advise they take to definitely guarantee a strong gold portfolio?
Guarantee is such a strong word, but I mean, this I as a Nigerian person, a Nigerian businessman, as a Nigerian resident, as a Nigerian citizen, as a Nigerian.
Thank you for breaking it down.
Yeah, let me break it down in every way you want to see it. I think that one should find a way to diversify the currency. There's nothing more heartbreaking than when you sit down with these old boys and you see they relent on how they've seen the currency move and how their assets, whatever assets they had in Naira, is worth far less than it used to be. Yeah. And I always think that if after the first few years, why didn't you just do something? Why don't you diversify your portfolio? And it's always like everyone just has this hope. And I don't know where this hope comes from that. I know this hope comes from that. We'll be okay this year. The Naira will not hit this. The Naira can never do this. And Naira and as we're talking, is doing it. We only see it as a reality when it's volatile. Right?
It's happening. Everybody's rushing it.
But the reality is it's still happening slowly or not. Right? We started the year 1,500. It's now 1,627. It's going to be 1,640 next week, and then 1,007, 1,008. It's going to be, and it's something that has to happen, unfortunately, because Naira is an oil story, right? Yeah. And that's another conversation for another day. So the advice for me is just find a way to diversify. Obviously, you have to conduct business and pay bills and everything in Naira, and your salaries in Naira, your revenues in Naira. So you also have to. You have some outgoings in Naira, so have some Nigerian treasury, Nigerian short-term money market positions that can allow you with some good payouts, 20-something% to pay these short-term bills that you have, short-term obligations that you have some good stocks that pay some good dividends, and also stocks give you a good upside that will hedge you against inflation because we are in a sticky inflationary environment. Yeah. But have some hard currency as well for your medium to long-term outlook. So, something that's a 12-month plus outlook. Have some gold for that same 9 months, 12 months, 24 months position. So whilst you have your hard currency, you also need to have your gold. If you want to follow the central bank's positions where they have 22% of the reserves in gold, have 22% of your cash reserves in gold too. So what I like to do is I like to copy the great investors, right? You copy Warren Buffett, you copy George Soros, copy the central banks too.
Yeah.
See what they're doing, and you diversify your portfolio accordingly. It's pretty. I like to think that these guys have done the hard work, so you don't have to.
There's some form of control at the end.
Yeah, and have to have some cash. Warren Buffett. We saw Warren Buffett go into cash. So there's this joke I make that the last standing safe haven would be cash and gold.
Yeah.
So that's my advice.
Okay then. So Kayode, you heard it from the, should I say, horse's mouth, right? So definitely, is it a go big or start small? Or it depends on...
Yeah, go as you can, man. See, sometimes we wait to go big, and big moves take time, and then you miss it. So I like to, I believe in little by little says a thoughtful boy. If you remember that poem if you're in school. Little by little, man, I start things small. Start today, There's this whole story about if you want to build a wall, start with a brick a day. And then by the end of the year, you have a wall. But if you keep thinking about the wall, you get overwhelmed, you never build a wall. Right? So just a brick a day, whatever you have in your pocket, man. Since it's morning, I'm going to get religious a little bit. When Moses was was talking to the burning bush, and the burning bush asked Moses to go and set my people free. Moses said, I can't. The burning bush said, what do you have in your hand? So what do you have, man? Whatever you have, man. Just put it away. So little by little says a thoughtful boy. So start now, start today.
All right, thank you so much, Arnold. Unfortunately, we don't have time.
No problem.
So definitely we've all learned that you don't need to be rich to actually invest in gold. You don't need to be an old school investor, right? So start small and definitely build your portfolio. Diversify as well. And Arnold has actually broken that down for us. And you can also get to pick his brain a lot more on Friday on our Drinks and Mics podcast. So definitely you get to feel him a lot better in his element, right? So definitely it was really a nice one. If you like to invest in gold, drop some comments, in the comment section, and definitely we'll get back to you. We look forward to seeing you guys and talking to you again next week. Have a nice day. Bye.